The silver ship cut through space like a knife through water. Inside, Kexthara stared at the empty screen in front of her. 3 weeks ago, 12 powerful warships had been here. Now there was nothing but dark space and distant stars. Kexthara was not like humans. Her skin was blue and smooth, and her eyes were large and black. She had 4 arms instead of 2, and each hand had 6 fingers. She worked for the Galactic Mercenary Guild, and her job was to find missing ships. In 40 years of work, she had never seen anything like this. The communication device on her desk made a soft sound. "Guild Investigator Kexthara," came a voice through the speaker. "We are detecting a large ship approaching from the planet below." "Put it on screen," Kexthara said. Her voice was calm, but her hearts were beating fast. She had 2 hearts, like all of her species. The screen showed a white ship rising from the planet called New Montana. The ship was big, but not as big as a warship. It moved slowly and peacefully toward her vessel. This surprised Kexthara. Most species ran away when they saw guild ships. These humans were coming to meet her. "Unknown guild vessel," came a new voice through the communicator. The voice sounded friendly and calm. "This is Jake Morrison, administrator of New Montana Colony. We saw your ship arrive and wanted to offer help. Are you having problems?" Kexthara touched a button to reply. "I am Guild Investigator Kexthara. I am looking for 12 ships that went missing in this area 3 weeks ago. Have you seen any unusual activity?" There was a short pause. Then Jake Morrison spoke again. 12 ships? That sounds serious. We haven't seen any ships around here, except for normal trade vessels. Would you like to come down to the colony? We can share our sensor records with you. Maybe they will help." This was very strange. Most species were afraid of the guild. They knew the guild hired soldiers to fight wars and kill enemies. But this human was acting like she was just a visitor who needed directions. "I will send a shuttle down," Kexthara said. "Prepare a landing area." "Of course," Jake said. "We'll have coffee ready for you. Do your species drink coffee?" "Coffee?" Kexthara had heard of this human drink, but no one had ever offered her coffee during an investigation. She did not know what to say, so she said nothing and ended the communication. 20 minutes later, Kexthara's shuttle landed on a flat area next to the human colony. She stepped out and looked around. The colony was much larger than she had expected. There were many buildings, farms, and machines. Thousands of humans lived here, maybe 50,000 or more. Jake Morrison was waiting for her. He was a tall human with brown hair and friendly eyes. He wore simple clothes and smiled when he saw her. 2 other humans stood beside him. One was a woman with red hair who looked young. The other was a man with gray hair who looked older. "Welcome to New Montana," Jake said. He held out his hand. Kexthara knew this was how humans greeted each other. She shook his hand with one of her 4 hands. "This is Kate Morrison, our communications officer," Jake said, pointing to the red-haired woman. "And this is Ryan Carter, our security chief." "Security chief." Kexthara looked at Ryan Carter more carefully. He looked like a normal human, but something about his eyes reminded her of soldiers she had known. Professional soldiers. "Thank you for meeting with me," Kexthara said. "I need to ask questions about the missing ships." "Of course," Jake said. "Let's go to my office." "Kate, can you get our sensor records ready?" "Already done," Kate said. She smiled, but Kexthara noticed that Kate's eyes were watching everything. Like she was looking for danger. They walked through the colony toward a large building. Kexthara saw humans working in fields and operating machines. Children played in open areas. Everything looked normal and peaceful. But something felt wrong. The humans were too calm, too organized. When she had landed, everyone had looked at her shuttle, but no one had seemed scared or surprised. Most species would have children hiding and adults gathering weapons when a guild ship arrived. These humans acted like guild investigators visited. Every day, Jake's office was simple but clean. He had a large desk, several chairs, and walls covered with papers and screens. Kate brought a small device and placed it on the desk. "These are our sensor records for the past month," Kate said. "We keep track of all ships that pass near our planet. It helps us know when to expect supply ships." Kexthara connected the device to her own equipment. Data flowed across her screen. She saw records of trade ships, passenger ships, and exploration vessels. All normal traffic. Then she found something interesting. 3 weeks ago, your sensors detected 12 large ships approaching this system, she said. The ships were moving in attack formation. Jake and Ryan exchanged a quick look. It was so fast that most beings would have missed it, but Kexthara was trained to notice small details. Double quotes. "Yes," Ryan said. "We saw them on our long-range sensors. They never came close to the planet, though. We assumed they were just passing through." "Did you try to communicate with them?" Kexthara asked. "We sent standard greeting messages," Kate said. "They did not reply. After a few hours, our sensors lost track of them." Kexthara studied the data more carefully. The 12 ships had approached New Montana in perfect military formation. Then, suddenly, all signals had disappeared at the same time. Ships did not just vanish like that. Something had destroyed them, or something had made them leave very quickly. "I need to scan the area where the ships disappeared," Kexthara said. "Will you help me?" "Of course," Jake said. "We want to help the guild with their investigation." As they talked, Kexthara heard a new sound outside. It was the sound of large ships landing. She looked out the window and saw 3 human warships settling down near the colony. They were sleek and dangerous looking, much more advanced than she had expected. "More visitors," Jake said, as if armed human warships landed at his colony. Every day. A few minutes later, a tall human woman in a blue uniform entered the office. She had short black hair and sharp eyes. Behind her walked 2 human soldiers carrying advanced weapons. "I am Lieutenant Commander Lisa Hayes of the Earth Defense Force," the woman said. "We received reports of alien military activity in this system. We are here to investigate and protect human interests." Now Kexthara understood. She was not the only one investigating the missing ships. The humans were also looking for answers. But why would human military ships be here so quickly unless they already knew something had happened? "Commander Hayes," Jake said, "this is Guild Investigator Kexthara. She is looking for 12 missing ships that were in this area 3 weeks ago." Lisa Hayes looked at Kexthara with cold, professional eyes. 12 ships? What kind of ships?" "Mercenary vessels," Kexthara said carefully. "The Void Hunters Company. They were hired for a mission in this system." "What kind of mission?" Lisa asked. Her voice was very quiet, but Kexthara could hear danger in it. Before Kexthara could answer, Kate's communication device made a sound. Kate listened to the message, then spoke to Jake in a low voice. "Long-range sensors are picking up debris in the asteroid field beyond the 4th planet. Unknown composition." "Debris?" Lisa Hayes asked. "What kind of debris?" "Metal fragments. Energy residue," Kate said. "It looks like the remains of a large battle." Kexthara felt her hearts beating faster. A battle? But battles left evidence. Winners and losers. Bodies and wreckage. If there had been a battle, where were the Void Hunters' ships? Where were the crews? "I think we should investigate this debris field together," Lisa Hayes said. "The Earth Defense Force has advanced scanning equipment." "Agreed," Kexthara said. She did not trust these humans, but she needed answers. As they prepared to leave the colony, Kexthara noticed something else strange. The human children were still playing outside, but now they were playing war games with toy weapons, and they were very good at it. Too good for normal children. What kind of colony was this? And what had really happened to the Void Hunters? 3 weeks earlier, far from New Montana, Commander Zalkar sat in his command chair studying the contract details on his screen. His ship, the Death's Edge, was the largest vessel in the Void Hunters' fleet. Around him, 11 other warships waited for his orders. Zalkar was tall and thin, with gray skin and sharp teeth. His species, the Kreks, were natural hunters and fighters. They had built the most feared mercenary company in the galaxy. The Void Hunters had destroyed entire planets and wiped out 3 different species. This job should be easy. The contract was simple. The Zephyrian Collective wanted a human colony eliminated. The planet was called New Montana, and it had about 50,000 humans living on it. The payment was good, very good. Enough to buy new ships and weapons for the entire fleet. Sub-Commander Veleneth, Zalkar called. A smaller Kreks with blue markings on his face came to stand beside the command chair. "Yes, Commander," Veleneth said. "Review the target information again. Tell me what we know about these humans." Veleneth touched his handheld computer and read from the screen. Species designation, human. Homeworld, Earth. Classification, Class 3 Deathworlder. Population, approximately 12 billion across 47 worlds. Weapons and technology? Zalkar asked. Basic kinetic weapons, chemical explosives, simple. Energy shields. Their ships use fusion engines and basic laser weapons. Technology level is about 200 years behind galactic standard. Zalkar nodded. This matched what he expected. Deathworlders were always dangerous in close combat because they came from planets with harsh conditions. But they were usually far behind in technology. Their worlds were too difficult to build advanced factories and research centers. What about their military? Zalkar asked. Small and scattered, Veleneth said. Most human colonies have only basic security forces. Intelligence reports suggest New Montana has 1 security officer and maybe 50 part-time guards. No military ships in the system. Defense systems? None detected. Basic communication equipment and simple sensors. No orbital platforms or weapon. Satellites. Zalkar smiled, showing his sharp teeth. 50,000 Deathworlders with primitive weapons against 12 modern warships. This will be over in hours, but Veleneth looked worried. Commander, should we gather more intelligence first? We have fought Deathworlders before, but humans are different. They spread across the galaxy very quickly, and they adapt to new conditions faster than other species. They are still primitives, Zalkar said. The Talarian Empire tried to stop human expansion 10 years ago. The humans fought them for 3 years, but the Talarians had better technology. The humans lost. Yes, but the humans fought much longer than expected, Veleneth said, and they learned quickly. By the end of the war, they were using captured Talarian weapons better than the Talarians themselves. Zalkar waved one hand to dismiss Veleneth's concerns. The Talarians were weak. They let the war drag on too long. We will not make that mistake. Orbital bombardment first, then ground forces to clean up any survivors. Simple and fast. Veleneth still looked uncertain, but he said nothing more. He had served under Zalkar for 8 years and knew better than to argue when the commander had made his decision that the Void Hunters fleet moved toward New Montana at high speed. The journey took 6 days. During that time, Zalkar studied everything the Zephyrian Collective had given them about the target. New Montana was a farming and mining world. The humans grew food and dug metals out of the ground. They had been there for 20 years, building their colony slowly and peacefully. The planet was far from major trade routes, so few ships visited. Perfect for a quiet elimination job, the humans on New Montana had sent regular messages to other human worlds for 20 years. The messages talked about weather, crop yields, mining output, and family news. Nothing about military preparations or defense systems. Nothing suspicious at all. On the 6th day, the Void Hunter's fleet reached the edge of the New Montana system. Zalkar ordered his ships to spread out and approach the planet from different directions. This was standard tactic for attacking a world. Even if the humans tried to run, the fleet would catch them. "Target planet in sight," reported his weapons. "Officer, scanning for defensive systems." "Report," Zalkar said. "No orbital weapons detected. No military ships in the system. Basic communication array on the planet's surface. Power sources consistent with civilian settlement." Everything matched the intelligence reports. Zalkar felt pleased. This would be another easy victory for the Void Hunters. "Open communication with the planet," Zalkar ordered. "Let them know. They are about to die." The communication screen showed a human male with brown hair and calm eyes. He was sitting in what looked like a simple office. The man did not look afraid, which surprised Zalkar. Most species became terrified when they saw Krek's warships approaching. "This is Jake Morrison, administrator of New Montana Colony," the human said. "Welcome to our system. Can we help you with anything?" Zalkar leaned forward in his chair. "I am Commander Zalkar of the Void Hunters Mercenary Company. You have been marked for elimination. You have 1 hour to send any final messages to your families, then you will all die." Jake Morrison looked at Zalkar for a long moment. His expression did not change. He did not beg for mercy or demand to. No, why? He just nodded slowly, like Zalkar had told him about the weather. "I understand," Jake said. "Thank you for the warning." 1 hour should be enough time. The communication ended. Zalkar stared at the blank screen, confused. That was not how victims usually reacted. Most species cried or screamed or tried to negotiate. This human had acted like death was just another appointment on his schedule. "Commander," Veleneth said quietly, "that was strange. Maybe we should reconsider our approach." "No," Zalkar said firmly. "The human is probably in shock. It happens sometimes. Begin bombardment preparations." But as the hour passed, strange things began to happen. The Void Hunter's sensors detected increased activity on the planet's surface. Vehicles were moving between settlements. Communication traffic increased dramatically, but it was not panic traffic. It was organized, calm, efficient. "Sir," the sensor operator reported, "the humans appear to be conducting an evacuation. But it is very orderly. They are moving in patterns that suggest military training." "Impossible," Zalkar said. "They are farmers and miners." "Sir, I am also detecting energy signatures that I cannot identify. They appear to be coming from underground installations that were not there in our initial scans." Zalkar felt the first touch of concern. "What kind of energy signatures?" "Unknown, sir. But they are very powerful. Much more powerful than civilian equipment should be." Before Zalkar could respond, his communication officer spoke up. "Commander, we are receiving a new transmission from the planet, but it is not coming from the same location as before." "Put it on screen," Zalkar ordered. This time, the screen showed a human female with red hair and green eyes. She was sitting in what looked like a more advanced control room. Behind her, Zalkar could see other humans working at complex computer systems. "Commander Zalkar," the woman said. "This is Kate Morrison, Communications Officer for New Montana. My brother asked me to send you a message before you begin your attack." "What message?" Zalkar asked. Kate Morrison smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "He wanted me to tell you that we have sent word to our family about your visit. They will be very interested to hear about it." "Your family cannot help you," Zalkar said. "There are no human military ships in this system." "That is true," Kate said. "There are no human military ships in this system yet, but that might change soon. You see, Commander, my family is in the military. My brother is a colonel in Earth's Special Operations Command. When I told him about your visit, he was very upset. Zalkar felt cold fear beginning to grow in his chest. Special Operations Command. He had heard that name before, but he could not remember where. It does not matter, he said, trying to sound confident. Your brother is too far away to help you. Kate Morrison's smile became wider. Maybe, but you know how humans are, Commander. We do not like it when people threaten our families. And we have a saying on Earth, no one fights alone. The communication ended. Zalkar sat in his chair, thinking hard. Something was wrong. These humans were not acting like victims. They were acting like they had a plan. Commander, Veleneth said, perhaps we should withdraw and gather more intelligence. No, Zalkar said, but his voice was not as confident. As before, we have a contract. Begin the bombardment. As his ships moved into attack position, Zalkar wondered why he felt so nervous. They were just humans. Primitive Deathworlders with simple weapons. What could they possibly do against 12? Modern warships? He was about to find out. On Earth, in a building deep underground, Colonel Danny Morrison sat at his desk reading reports. The room was filled with computers and communication equipment. Maps of the galaxy covered the walls, showing human colonies and trade routes. This was the headquarters of Earth's Special Operations Command, and Danny Morrison was one of its most experienced officers. A soft sound came from his personal communicator. Danny looked at the small device and saw a message from his sister Kate. On New Montana. The message was short, but it made Danny's blood run cold. Danny, we have company coming for dinner. 12 guests who don't want to be friends. I think you should call Mom and Dad. Love, Kate. Danny stared at the message for a long moment. Then he pressed a button on his desk. Get me Admiral Susan. Clark immediately. Priority Alpha. Within minutes, Admiral Clark appeared on Danny's screen. She was a tough-looking woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had commanded Earth's military forces for 10 years, and she was known for making quick decisions. What is it, Colonel? Admiral Clark asked. My sister just sent me a coded message. From New Montana, Danny said. 12 alien warships are approaching the colony with hostile intent. Admiral Clark's expression became very serious. Are you certain? Yes, ma'am. Kate uses our family code. 12 guests means 12 ships. Don't want to be friends means hostile. Call Mom and Dad means request immediate military support. How long do we have? Admiral Clark asked. Unknown, but probably not long. The message just came through. Admiral Clark was quiet for a moment, thinking. New Montana was far from Earth, almost at the edge of human space. It would take weeks for regular ships to reach the colony, but Earth had other options. Colonel Morrison, you know New Montana better than anyone. What are our assets in that system? Danny pulled up files on his computer. New Montana appears to be a simple farming and mining colony, but that is not the complete truth. The colony was established as Forward Observation Post 7. Most of the colonists are retired military personnel and their families. They have been monitoring alien activity in that sector for 20 years. What about defenses? Admiral Clark asked. The colony has hidden defense systems that are not visible to normal scans. Underground bunkers, concealed weapon systems, and advanced communication equipment. But against 12 warships, they will not last long. Admiral Clark nodded. What about the Harbinger? Danny's eyes lit up. The UES Harbinger is on patrol in Sector 9. That puts it about 6 hours from New Montana at maximum speed. Perfect. Contact Captain Nick Torres immediately. Tell him to proceed to New Montana with full military authorization. And Colonel, I want you on that ship. Yes, ma'am, Danny said. What about backup? I will send everything we can, but it will take time. The Harbinger will have to handle the initial response. How good is Captain Torres? Danny smiled grimly. He's one of our best. And his ship carries a full company of orbital drop Marines. Excellent. Get moving, Colonel, and keep me informed. The communication ended. Danny grabbed his equipment and ran toward the transport pad. Within 30 minutes, he was on a fast courier ship heading for the Harbinger's position, the UES. Harbinger was unlike any ship the galaxy had ever seen. It was built using technology that Earth had developed in secret over the past 20 years. The ship could move faster than any known vessel, and it was almost invisible to normal sensors. More importantly, it carried weapons that alien species had never encountered. Captain Nick Torres was a calm, professional officer who had commanded the Harbinger for 3 years. When he received Admiral Clark's message, he immediately changed course toward New Montana. He also called his senior officers to the bridge. "Ladies and gentlemen," Captain Torres said, "we have a situation. An Earth colony is about to be attacked by 12 alien warships. We are going to stop that attack." Major Amy Collins, commander of the ship's Marine detachment, stepped forward. She was a tall woman with short black hair and scars on her hands. "From previous battles, what do we know about the enemy, sir?" "Unknown alien species, 12 warships, probably mercenaries. They appear to believe that New Montana is an undefended civilian target." Major Collins smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "They are going to be very surprised." "How long until we reach New Montana?" asked Lieutenant Commander Ben Parker, the ship's weapons officer. 5 hours and 43 minutes at maximum speed, Torres replied. "We will arrive during or just after the alien attack begins." "Sir," Major Collins said, "request permission to prepare my Marines for immediate deployment." "Granted. Full combat loadout. We do not know what we will be facing." As the Harbinger raced through space toward New Montana, Captain Torres studied everything Earth's intelligence services knew about alien military tactics. Most alien species fought in predictable patterns. They relied on superior numbers and advanced technology. They were not prepared for the kind of warfare that humans had perfected. Humans had spent thousands of years fighting each other on a world that tried to kill them every day. Earth was a death world, covered with dangerous animals, deadly weather, and natural disasters. Humans had learned to fight in conditions that would kill most alien species. More importantly, humans had learned to fight as a team. Other species might have better individual warriors or superior technology, but humans worked together better than anyone else in the galaxy. 5 hours later, the Harbinger arrived at New Montana. Captain Torres immediately scanned the system and saw the alien fleet attacking the planet. Explosions were visible on the planet's surface as the alien ships fired their weapons. "Sensor report," Torres ordered. 12 alien warships in standard bombardment formation, reported the sensor officer. "They are firing on population centers. I am also detecting energy signatures from the planet's surface. It looks like the colonists are fighting back." "Good," Torres said. "They are buying us time." "Major Collins, are your Marines ready?" "Ready and waiting, sir," came Collins' voice through the communicator. "Weapons officer, target the alien flagship. I want their commander to know we are here." "Target locked, sir." "Fire." The Harbinger's main weapon was based on technology that humans had developed by studying captured alien equipment and improving it. The beam that shot from the ship was invisible to normal sensors, but it hit the alien flagship with tremendous force. On board the Death's Edge, Commander Zalkar was thrown from his chair as his ship shook violently. Alarms sounded throughout the vessel. "Report," Zalkar shouted. "Unknown weapon hit us from behind," his weapons officer said. "Major damage to rear armor. I am detecting one ship approaching at high speed." "One ship? What class?" "Unknown design." "Sir, it does not match any ship in our database." Zalkar looked at his tactical screen. The unknown ship was small compared to his warships, but it was moving very fast and had just damaged his flagship with a single shot. "All ships, turn and engage the new target," Zalkar ordered, but as his fleet turned to face the Harbinger, something else happened. 12 objects launched from the planet's surface and began moving toward his ships. They were small, too small to be ships, but they were moving faster than any missile he had ever seen. "What are those?" Zalkar demanded. "Unknown, sir. But they are accelerating toward our ships." On the Harbinger, Major Collins and her Marines were already in their drop pods. Each pod was a small spacecraft designed to carry one Marine from a ship to a planet's surface, or in this case, to an enemy vessel. "Listen up, Marines," Collins said over the communication system. "We have 12 alien ships that think they can attack human civilians. We are going to show them why that was a mistake. Remember your training. These aliens have never fought humans before. They do not know what we can do." "Ura," came the response from 48 Marines. "Drop in 30 seconds," came the voice of the Harbinger's launch officer. Major Collins checked her weapons one more time. She carried advanced armor that could protect her in space, weapons that could cut through alien ship hulls, and equipment that would let her survive in any environment. More importantly, she carried the fighting spirit of a species that had never learned to give up. 10 seconds to drop," the launch officer announced. "Remember," Collins said to her Marines, "we are not just fighting for New Montana. We are fighting for every human colony in the galaxy. We are showing the aliens that humans cannot be pushed around. Drop, drop, drop." 12 drop pods shot out from the Harbinger like bullets from a gun. Each pod carried 4 Marines toward a different alien ship. The aliens had never seen anything like this. They were used to fighting ship-to-ship battles or landing armies on planets. They were not prepared for small groups of soldiers attacking their ships directly. The first pod hit the Death's Edge and cut through the hull like it was made of paper. Major Collins and 3 Marines entered the alien ship and immediately began fighting their way toward the bridge. The aliens inside the ship were not prepared for close combat with humans. They were taller and stronger than humans, but they moved slowly and their weapons were designed for long-range fighting. In the narrow corridors of their own ship, they could not use their advantages. Collins moved through the ship like a deadly shadow. Her armor protected her from alien weapons, and her own weapons cut through alien defenses easily. Behind her, her Marines followed, securing each section. Back in the present, Kexthora floated in space inside her small investigation ship, staring at the debris field through the window. Pieces of metal drifted slowly in the darkness between the asteroids. Some pieces were large, some were small, but all of them had once been part of powerful warships. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Hayes floated beside her in a human spacesuit. Both of them were examining the wreckage that remained of the Void Hunter's fleet. The pieces told a story, but it was not the story Kexthara had expected to hear. "This metal is from Krek's warships," Kexthara said, using her scanner on a twisted piece of hull plating. "But it has been cut by weapons I do not recognize." Lisa Hayes examined another piece of debris. "The cuts are very clean and precise. Whatever made them was extremely advanced." A new voice came through their communication system. "This is Captain Nick Torres of the UE's Harbinger. We are approaching your position now." Kexthara looked up and saw a human ship approaching through the asteroid field. It was sleek and dark, and her sensors had trouble detecting it even when she was looking directly at it. This was clearly a military vessel, and a very advanced one. "Captain Torres," Lisa Hayes said, "we are investigating the debris from 12 Krek's warships. Do you have any information about what happened here?" There was a pause before Torres replied, "Perhaps we should discuss this matter on my ship. There are things you need to know about the events that occurred here." 20 minutes later, Kexthara, Lisa Hayes, Jake Morrison, and Ryan Carter were sitting in a meeting room aboard the Harbinger. Captain Torres sat across from them, along with a tall man in military uniform who had introduced himself as Colonel Danny Morrison. "Before we begin," Torres said, "I want to make something clear. Everything we are about to tell you is the truth. But the truth is more complicated than it appears." Kexthara leaned forward in her chair. "I need to know what happened to the Void Hunters fleet. 12 warships do not simply disappear." Colonel Morrison looked at his brother Jake, then back at Kexthara. "They did not disappear, they were destroyed." "We destroyed them." "You?" Kexthara could not hide her surprise. "But intelligence reports said New Montana was a civilian colony with no defenses." Jake Morrison smiled sadly. "Intelligence reports said what we wanted them to say. New Montana is a civilian colony, but it is not defenseless. Most of our colonists are retired military personnel. We have been living here for 20 years, but we have also been watching." "Watching what?" Lisa Hayes asked. "Watching for threats to human space," Ryan Carter answered. "New Montana is not just a farming community. It is Forward Observation Post 7. We monitor alien ship movements, communication traffic, and military activities in this sector." Kexthara felt her understanding of the situation changing completely. "You are spies." "We are protectors," Colonel Morrison said firmly. 20 years ago, Earth's government realized that human expansion into space would eventually bring us into contact with hostile alien species. We needed to be prepared. Captain Torres activated a holographic display in the center of the table. It showed a map of the local galaxy with human colonies marked in blue and alien territories marked in different colors. "Every human colony on the frontier has hidden defensive capabilities," Torres said. "What looks like a simple farming community might have underground bunkers, concealed weapon systems, and direct communication links to Earth's military command." "But the Void Hunters had 12 warships," Kexthara said. "How could a single colony defeat them?" "They could not," Colonel Morrison said. "That is why we have ships like the Harbinger patrolling near every frontier colony." When Kate sent her coded message to me, I immediately contacted Earth Command. The Harbinger was only 6 hours away. Lisa Hayes studied the holographic map carefully. "How many ships like the Harbinger does Earth have?" Torres and Morrison exchanged a look. "That information is classified," Torres said. But Kexthara was beginning to understand the bigger picture. "You have been preparing for war for 20 years. We have been preparing for survival," Morrison said. "Humans have learned from history. Every time a species expands into space, they eventually meet other species who want to stop them. We decided to be ready." "What happened during the battle?" Kexthara asked. Torres touched the holographic display, and it changed to show the New Montana system. The Void Hunters approached the planet in standard bombardment formation. They had no idea that we were watching them from the moment they entered the system. "We tried to avoid the fight," Jake Morrison said. "I offered Commander Zalkar a chance to leave peacefully, but he was determined to complete his contract." "So you killed them all," Kexthara said. "We gave them a chance to surrender," Torres said quietly. "Most of them took it. Commander Zalkar and his senior officers are currently in detention aboard this ship. The crews of 8 other ships also surrendered. But 3 ships fought too." The end. Kexthara was quiet for a long moment, thinking about what she had learned. The Guild had sent the Void Hunters to eliminate what they thought was a defenseless human colony. Instead, the mercenaries had attacked a military outpost protected by one of the most advanced warships in human space. "What will happen to the survivors?" she asked. "That depends on many things," Colonel Morrison said. "The attack on New Montana was unprovoked aggression against human civilians. By galactic law, we have the right to treat the attackers as war criminals. But we prefer diplomacy to warfare," Torres added. "We are willing to return the survivors to the Guild in exchange for certain guarantees." "What kind of guarantees?" Lisa Hayes asked. First, no more attacks on human colonies. Second, formal recognition of human territorial boundaries. Third, establishment of diplomatic relations between Earth and the Guild. Kexthara realized that she was not just investigating a missing fleet anymore. She was witnessing the beginning of a major change in galactic politics. Humans were not the primitive Deathworlders that everyone thought they were. They were a technological and military power that had been hiding its true capabilities for decades. How long have humans had technology like this? She asked. We have been developing it since we first left Earth, Morrison said. Humans are very good at learning from other species. Every time we encounter new technology, we study it, improve it, and make it our own. The weapons that destroyed the Void Hunters ships, Torres said, are based on Krek's energy technology, Zephyrian shield systems, and Talarian targeting computers. But we have made them much more efficient. You have been stealing alien technology for 20 years, Kexthara said. We have been learning, Morrison corrected. Every species in the galaxy shares or trades technology. We just happen to be very good at making improvements. Lisa Hayes looked at the holographic display again. How many other colonies are like New Montana? All of them, Jake Morrison said simply. Every human settlement outside of core Earth territory has defensive capabilities and military support. We learned long ago that the galaxy is not a safe place for weak species. Kexthara thought about the implications of what she was hearing. The Guild had classified humans as Class 3 Deathworlders, dangerous individually, but technologically inferior. That classification was completely wrong. Humans were far more advanced than anyone realized, and they had been preparing for exactly this kind of situation. What do you want me to tell the Guild? She asked. Tell them the truth, Torres said. Tell them that the Void Hunters attacked a human colony and were defeated. Tell them that we are willing to discuss the return of survivors and the establishment of peaceful relations. And tell them, Colonel Morrison added, that humans do not start fights, but we always finish them. Kexthara nodded slowly. She understood now why the Void Hunters had vanished so completely. They had not encountered primitive farmers. They had encountered professional soldiers with advanced weapons who were prepared for exactly this kind of attack. There is one more thing you should know, Torres said. The Harbinger is not the only human ship in this area. We have others, watching to make sure there are no more surprises. How many others? Kexthara asked. Torres smiled. Enough. As Kexthara prepared to return to her own ship, she realized that everything the galaxy knew about humans was wrong. They were not just tough survivors from a dangerous world. They were a military power that had been hiding in plain sight, preparing for the day when someone would try to destroy them. That day had come, and the galaxy was about to learn what happened when you attacked a species that had spent 20 years preparing for war. The missing Void Hunters were not missing at all. They had simply met an enemy they were not prepared to fight. 2 weeks later, on the Galactic Council homeworld, the Great Assembly Hall was filled with representatives from hundreds of different species. The circular chamber was huge, with seats rising in tiers around a central speaking platform. Today, the council was meeting to discuss something that had never happened before: the complete defeat of a major mercenary fleet by a species that was supposed to be primitive. Ambassador Carol Evans walked onto the speaking platform with calm confidence. She was a tall woman with gray hair and intelligent eyes. She had been Earth's representative to the galaxy for 5 years, but today was different. Today, everyone was watching her with new respect and new fear. Honored representatives, Carol said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. Come before you today to address the recent incident involving the Void Hunters Mercenary Company and the human colony of New Montana. In the Galactic Mercenary Guild section, Kexthara sat beside Guildmaster Raxton, a large alien with 4 arms and silver skin. She had delivered her report 3 days ago, and the guild leadership had been in emergency meetings ever since. The Funda. Facts are simple, Carol continued. The Void Hunters were hired by the Zephyrian Collective to attack and eliminate 50,000 human civilians living peacefully on New Montana. This attack was unprovoked and illegal under galactic law. In the Zephyrian section, Collective Prime Zarth shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The contract had seemed like a simple matter when they issued it. Remove a troublesome human settlement that was interfering with their expansion plans. Now it had become a galactic incident. The attack failed, Carol said. Not because the humans ran away or begged for mercy, but because we defended ourselves. We protected our families, our homes, and our right to exist in peace. Council Speaker Velamind, an ancient being whose species had helped found the Galactic Council 3,000 years ago, leaned forward in the central chair. Ambassador Evans, the Council requires clarification. How did a single human colony defeat 12 modern warships? Carol smiled. It was a calm, confident smile that made many of the alien representatives feel uneasy. Speaker Velamind, the answer is simple. We were prepared. Prepared how? Demanded Trade Master Kex learn from the Merchant Alliance section. Intelligence reports indicated that New Montana had no military defenses. Intelligence reports indicated what we wanted them to indicate, Carol replied. For 20 years, Earth has been establishing colonies throughout this region of space. Those colonies serve multiple purposes. They are homes for our people, sources of food and raw materials, and observation posts to monitor activities that might threaten human interests. A murmur of concern ran through the assembly. Many species had established colonies near human settlements, thinking they were dealing with simple farmers and miners. Are you saying that all human colonies are military installations? Asked Scientific Director Mex Vara from the Research Consortium. I am saying that all human colonies are protected, Carol said firmly. We learned long ago that the galaxy can be a dangerous place for species that cannot defend themselves. Guild Master Raxton stood up to speak. Ambassador Evans, the Galactic Mercenary Guild, demands the return of our personnel and ships. The Void Hunters were operating under a legal contract. Carol turned to face the Guild section directly. Guild. Master Raxton, Earth recognizes the right of the Guild to operate under galactic law. However, the attack on New Montana violated several provisions of that same law. The Void Hunters attacked civilian targets without declaration of war or legal justification. The contract was issued by a sovereign government, Raxton protested. The Zephyrian Collective had no legal claim to New Montana or its people, Carol replied. The attack was an act of piracy, not legitimate military action. Council Speaker Velamind raised one hand for silence. The Council will review the legal aspects of this matter separately. Today, we must address the larger implications. Ambassador Evans, what are Earth's intentions regarding the captured mercenaries? Earth is prepared to return all survivors to the Guild, Carol said. In exchange, we require 3 things. First, formal recognition of human territorial boundaries and the right to defend our colonies. Second, establishment of diplomatic relations between Earth and all Council members. Third, membership in the Galactic Mercenary Guild for Earth's private security companies. The assembly erupted in surprise. Voices. Membership in the Guild was only granted to species with proven military capabilities and advanced technology. No one had considered that humans might qualify. You wish to become mercenaries yourselves? Asked Military Coordinator Zexcan from the Defense Alliance. We wish to ensure that what happened to the Void Hunters does not happen to anyone else. Carol said, Earth prefers peace, but we are very good at war. We would rather use our skills to protect others than to destroy those who threaten us. At that moment, new ships appeared on the chamber's main display screen. 12 sleek vessels were approaching the Council homeworld, moving in perfect formation. They were human ships, but unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Admiral Susan Clark of the Earth Defense Force is arriving to participate in these discussions, Carol announced. She brings with her representatives from our military and diplomatic corps. The human ships took positions around the Council homeworld, not threatening but clearly visible to everyone. The message was clear. Earth was no longer hiding its capabilities, Admiral. Clark entered the assembly hall an hour later, accompanied by a small group of human officers including Colonel Danny Morrison. She walked to the speaking platform with the confidence of someone who had commanded fleets in battle. "Honored representatives," Admiral Clark said, "I come here not to threaten anyone, but to establish a new understanding. For 20 years, Earth has been patient. We have built our colonies, developed our technology, and prepared for the day when we would need to defend ourselves. That day has come. The attack on New Montana has shown the galaxy that humans are not the primitive Deathworlders you thought we were. We are a technological and military power, and we are here to stay." Scientific Director Mex Vara stood up to ask a question. "Admiral Clark, how advanced is human technology compared to galactic standard?" "In some areas we are behind," Clark said honestly. "In others, we are ahead. But our greatest advantage is not our technology. It is our experience. Humans have been fighting for survival since we first appeared on Earth. We know how to adapt, how to learn, and how to win." "What does Earth want from the galaxy?" asked Council Speaker Velamind. "Peace," Clark said simply. "Trade, cooperation, but also respect. We will not allow anyone to attack our people again. The Void Hunters learned this lesson. We hope others will learn it more peacefully." Over the following days, the Council debated and discussed. The legal review confirmed that the attack on New Montana had been illegal. The Zephyrian Collective was ordered to pay compensation to the human colonists. The Guild was required to revise its classification of human military capabilities. But the most important change was political. Earth was granted full membership in the Galactic Council and diplomatic recognition from all member species. Human colonies were officially recognized as sovereign territory under Council protection. The Galactic Mercenary Guild voted to accept Earth's application for membership. After reviewing combat footage from the New Montana battle, Guildmaster Raxton privately admitted to Kexthara that he had never seen such efficient military operations. "The humans did not just defeat the Void Hunters," Raxton said. "They destroyed them so completely that it looked easy. We need soldiers like that working for us, not against us." 3 months later, the New Montana Defense Academy opened its doors. Students from dozens of species came to learn what humans called Deathworld combat techniques. The academy was run by Colonel Morrison, who had been promoted to General, and Major Collins, who had been promoted to Colonel. Jake Morrison expanded New Montana Colony to accommodate the new students and their families. The planet became a center of interspecies cooperation and military training. Kate Morrison became the Academy's Chief Communications Officer, coordinating with military forces throughout the galaxy. Captain Torres and the Harbinger were assigned to patrol the Academy's sector, ensuring the safety of students from all species. But Torres was not alone. 12 more ships like the Harbinger had been deployed throughout human space, each one protecting multiple colonies and trade routes. On Earth, Ambassador Evans prepared for her next assignment, establishing trade agreements with species who had previously ignored human economic proposals. The galaxy's attitude toward Earth had changed dramatically. Species that had once dismissed humans as primitive now competed for human technology and military cooperation. The Void Hunters incident had changed everything. The galaxy now understood that humans were not just survivors from a dangerous world. They were a major power that had been hiding its strength while building a foundation for long-term success. In her final report to the Earth Council. Admiral Clark wrote, "The galaxy has learned that humans do not seek conflict, but we are prepared for it. We have shown that we can defend ourselves and our allies. Now we must show that we can be trusted partners in building a peaceful future." The age of others underestimating.